So I just really got to dig into my faith at this point. And, I just keep constantly reminding myself, when I am weak, he is strong. And so I'm really telling myself, I can't do this in my own strength. Even the word says, it's not by your strength, it's not by your bow that you have victories, it's by God. So
I really want a family. I've waited for my husband for so many years, and I'm just getting mad, and I'm about to turn 40.
This thing with Lolo Jones is a baffling one because she's everything that a man is supposed to want in a woman. She's fit, she's feminine, she's highly attractive, and if that isn't good enough, she's a virgin. Women like that are unicorns, man. You don't see them. You just hear stories about them. They're myths, they're legends, but here she is. But in spite of everything she's got going for her, she can't get a man. At 40 years old, she's still single. And she's been crying about it on social media. Things have gotten so bad that she's actually resorted to freezing her eggs. And that doesn't make sense because women like her tend to win at life. They end up living a happily ever after, so what went wrong? Well, that depends on who you ask. If you ask a feminist, they'll blame the men. They'll say she's single because there are no good men available, or the men she's met weren't good enough, or because men just don't like good women. Now, the fellas in the red pill community will tell you it's because she's crazy. That anytime you see an attractive woman over 30 that's still single, something must be wrong with her. Now, I disagree with both of them. The idea that she hasn't had access to good men or good men don't want good women like her is absurd. Because Lolo Jones, aside from being a world-class athlete, is a celebrity with a clean image. At one point, she's had corporate sponsors. That means she's been in rooms with high-value men and power players. She's had access. There is no shortage of good men that have come into her life. And even now, I bet you there are good men chasing after her. But I think the reason why she's single has a lot to do with the church. And please understand, when I say the church, I don't mean God, Christianity, or the Bible. I'm talking about the garbage that comes out of the pulpit of the modern church. I think the reason why she continues to be single in spite of her beauty and accomplishment has to do with what she's been taught. I say this because I'm about the same age as Lolo Jones, and we came up in the faith around the same time. And the one thing they teach women in the modern church is God is responsible for finding their husband. Pastors have been pushing that BS on women for decades, and the problem with that philosophy is it is not biblical. God doesn't promise a spouse to anyone. What he does offer is a guideline on how to select a spouse, what qualities to look for and what to avoid. But there are no promises. Nothing is guaranteed because people have free will and God doesn't compel anyone to love you. The second issue I have with that wait on God to send you a husband mantra is that it creates an unrealistic standard amongst Christian women because God is perfect. And everything he creates is perfect. And if God is sending a woman a husband, then by proxy, the man he's sending must also be perfect. And once a woman like Lolo Jones has that in her head, no man is good enough. As a matter of fact, good becomes the enemy of perfection. So even if a man is 80, 90, even 95% of what she wants, that's not good enough. Because whatever God sends is perfect, and perfect means 100%. He can't be most of what she wants. He has to be everything she wants. Now, the sad reality of that is, because she has this high standard, she's probably already met the man she was supposed to marry. I'm willing to bet that over the course of her life, she's dated or met at least 10 men that would have made for great husbands. And she's likely turned them all down because they weren't perfect, because they weren't 100% of what she was looking for. Now, I don't know Lolo Jones. This is just a theory of mine. But I'm comfortable in saying it because I've seen it. I've seen young, beautiful women like her, like Lolo Jones, waste her entire lives waiting on something that God never promised. Youth and fertility gone, but they're still waiting on something that ain't coming. And most of them aren't virgins, but they haven't dated or been with a man in decades. And today, many of them, just like Lolo, are sitting around crying and wondering where everything went wrong. The late Kevin Samuels actually did a show on this topic a few months ago. There was a woman just like her on his show. She got saved in her 20s, hasn't seriously dated a man in 20 years because she's been waiting on God to do something. I'll put the link in the description. But just like Lolo, that woman Kevin was talking to was beautiful, 40 and single. And her church, the entire time she was there waiting for a husband, had done nothing to help her. It's also why I believe so many younger Christian women who don't want to share the fate of a Lolo Jones took advice from Kevin instead of their local pastor. I did 2 videos on that topic, and I'll post the links to those in the description. But yeah, this is common. Anyone who's been in the church for the past 2 decades has seen it. That's why on some level I feel bad for Lolo. I don't think she's a bad woman, and I don't think she struggled meeting good men. I think she's a victim of bad teaching, sitting under unbiblical doctrine. She's been taught to believe in something that God has never promised. But the good news is it's not over. Fortunately for her, she's still beautiful and she's still a virgin, so she can still win. But she's going to have to adjust her standards. The men she attracted when she was in her 20s and early 30s are not knocking on her door anymore. And she's going to have to accept the best of what's available to her if she wants to be married. Now, that man may not be perfect, but he's a lot better than what most women her age are dealing with. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up right here. Please like, comment, and share this video. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you'll get alerts every time I upload new content. This is the Layman's Journal. Thanks for stopping by. I'm out.